What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another From Screen to Shelf review. This one I'm going to do a little bit differently. So I just got out of seeing Strange Darling. As you saw, you probably clicked on the thumbnail and went in from there. This is a new movie by J.T. Molnar, and it's featuring Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. So I instead of just breaking down how I feel about it, I think I just want to more or less kind of sell you to go see this movie because this might be one of the biggest surprises of the year since earlier this year with Abigail. If you've been following along, you know I'm a huge fan of that movie. It's been one of my favorites of the year, and I think it's got some good competition with Strange Darling. So this movie, man, absolutely awesome. So the way that it starts out is it has a bunch of little homages. It very, very much starts out, and this will be spoiler free. So everything I'm about to say, unless you're trying to go in completely blind, won't really be spoilers. It's just, again, I'm trying to sell you on the movie. So it opens up, it's completely filmed in 35 millimeter because it says in it at the very beginning, it's before anything, it's the first thing that comes on your screen. It says shot on 35 millimeter. That's awesome as hell. Then it also says that this movie is going to be presented in like 6 different parts, which it is. So the movie is presented in 6 parts, which I guess you can more consider like act 1, act 2, act 3, part 1 and 2 of each of those because that's kind of how it works out. But the thing is like while this thing also tries to pay homage to classic slashers and things that have come before it, it also finds its identity and it doesn't tell you a linear story. It essentially tells you it and jumps you in towards like the 2/3 mark, and then it rewinds and goes forward, rewinds and goes forward until you have a coherent and cohesive story at the very end. And that's what I absolutely loved about this movie, as well as Willa Fitzgerald's performance as our lead actress in this, the lady that's on the cover, and probably she's going to be inevitably on the thumbnail for this. That was absolutely a phenomenal performance. It's up there with like some of the Mia Goth performances we've gotten. She's absolutely found her footing and she absolutely killed it in this movie. And I really, really, really am excited to go and discover some of her other things that she's done, as well as see what she does in the future because she's got a lot of exciting things. She showed a full spectrum of range. She showed a lot of emotion. She showed like really like especially like the last few minutes, it was just crazy good. And I had an absolute blast with it. This movie, it doesn't necessarily transcend anything new, but I think the way that it's presented is bizarre, experimental, and creative at the same time because it does tell a little bit of a bizarre, creative, and experimental story at the same exact time. It won't necessarily tread new ground for most people. I think it does a lot of common tropes differently enough to warrant saying that this is a unique ish movie. And it really comes down to the way that it's presented that makes it feel even much more unique than what is inherently just slight tweaks to a typical genre trope that we've seen. But it really, really was great. Everything in this, the score was absolutely phenomenal. The way that the lighting was done, especially whenever they show you chapter one, it's oh my god, the blue lighting and everything, just like absolutely immaculate. Whenever it comes to this, I haven't seen any of the other directors or the directors' others movies. I just got told, hey, this might be a good sleeper hit for you because somebody else got out of the theater. And it seems like we might have had similar reactions now that I've gotten a chance to see it, and I went in completely blind. I didn't watch a single trailer, and I recommend that being the way that you kind of invest yourself into this movie. I always say going in completely blind is usually the most rewarding thing because then you don't try to memorize things from the trailers. You don't see things that are in the trailers that aren't inherently going to be in the movie. And I think that's a really, really good and fair shake to give something, especially something like this. And it does come off a little bit art housey as well. It's very unique in everything that it does. The kills, in this are they feel a lot more organic and natural, and it's not like anything in here is there just to gross you out or just be like, "Oh, wow, what a cool way to go out." It tries to tell a story with a sense of realism, a a power dynamic struggle that how do you say this a struggle in dynamics that leads to turmoil is probably the way that I would describe this. And especially be careful of the people that you meet, right? It's a very cautionary tale. It's also a very reactionary tale with what comes about it. And ultimately, I can't say enough good things about this, but this review is going to be extremely short. Sorry about that, guys. I know I usually go on like 8-10 minute tangents, but the thing is like I can't really talk more about this movie without going into spoilers. And I found that I've more enjoyed talking to you guys on here whenever I really don't go over the spoilers because sometimes somebody goes in the comment and posts a spoiler. So I try to avoid that going forward unless I'm going to do a separate one. which inevitably I might do a spoiler discussion for this because I have a feeling that with the rating I'm about to give it, it's going to grow. I don't think this movie's not going to hold up on rewatches. I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 9 out of 10. And I wouldn't be surprised if this starts becoming like X, which I love if you've been a longtime viewer of the channel. That's one of my favorite movies that's come out over the last few years. I absolutely adore X. I think it's unique, it's creative, while also, again, kind of falls in the same boat as this. It reinvents things that are already there by doing it slightly differently enough that makes it feel like a whole new package. And that's what I got with Strange Darling. I would not be surprised. And I really hope it has a 4K, especially with it being shot on 35 millimeter. And some of the way that the lighting was done in the scenes, HDR will look incredible. So again, guys, 9 out of 10. And again, I'm sure on repeat viewings, this movie's going to hold up even more for me. But again, go check out Strange Darling. It is showing, I believe it's in limited run. I don't think it's like doing a full run because there were only 2 showings I had a choice from for today. I just got out of it. So thank you guys so much. Comment, like, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys for 500 subscribers. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but we definitely saw that. We'll be doing something special for that. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody.